Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, it is a long overdue video. I'm going to be telling you guys exactly how I made $100,000 as an LPN. Now first I should let you guys know that I am a little bit under the weather, so if I do sound a little bit congested, that is the reason why. We're just going to go ahead and jump straight into the video. Now let me start by saying that I was an LPN in the state of New York. I do hold, well I did at the time hold a license in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. So just in case if I wanted to travel, which I did do as an LPN, I had those licenses. So it is very important that you know when you go to take your licensure, they ask you, do you want a multi-state license, or do you want to have a license in another state? At the time when I did my state boards, I only did New York and Florida because my mom lived in Florida. So I always knew that if I wanted to come to Florida at any point in time, I had a Florida license. When I landed my first job, it was in a long-term care facility. Shortly after that, I did get a call from a hospital and I left the nursing home and I went to the hospital. Now the advantage of me working at that nursing home was the fact that I was working on a tracheostomy or a trach care, vent care unit. I got that experience, and then I branched off into the hospital, where when I first went into the hospital, and I'm not even going to lie, because like I told you guys before, when I became an LPN, I was 19, and I thought to myself, I want the easiest job. I went and I applied to work on the psychiatric unit. Now, I was flabbergasted when I went for my interview, and there was this nurse, I'll never forget her, Miss Tillman. She looked at me, she worked at Kings County, and she said, honey, you want the easy way out? No. Every new nurse that comes in, they start off on the med-surg floor, and then we rotate them on every unit so you get a good variation to your nursing care, and then you also learn a lot of hands-on techniques. Just in case if the hospital is short, they can pull you and send you to any unit and you'll be equipped enough to work. So I did love that about working at Kings County, which is a teaching hospital. Let's jump into how I made $100K. When I worked at Kings County, they did offer programs where you got certifications, and I took full advantage of that. So while working at Kings County, I did get phlebotomy certified because all the LPNs had to know how to start IVs and how to draw blood. So I was phlebotomy certified, I got EKG certified, and that's how I started my wound care certificate. So when I got my wound care certificate, the first thing I did was that I looked on Craigslist, because at that time Craigslist had a lot of jobs like where you can work for yourself basically. And what I stumbled upon was a lot of people were asking for nurses with an NPI number. I never knew that an LPN or nurses even had NPI numbers. I just thought that physicians had NPI number. I looked it up, I found out I can get it. I have the website, I will make sure I put it in the description box below. Once I got my NPI number, I went ahead and I started to research how I can go about working for myself using my wound care certificate. Once I learned to do my own coding and billing, that's when I kind of branched off. I went to part-time at the hospital, and then I also worked for myself. I've been seriously thinking about opening up a home for underprivileged individuals, especially homeless veterans, because that's where they need help down here. There's a lot of homeless people out here, and it's different because in New York, I'm so used to seeing all these shelters. Down here, they only have a few shelter system, and you have to be able to qualify for certain things. I think they charge them like $5 per day. It's like really ridiculous. So I'm really trying to open up like a non-profit home. I don't want to go off the subject. So back to how you can also make $100,000 as an LPN is to look into traveling. As I stated earlier, I had a license in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. Because I had those 4 licenses, whenever an agency will contact me and say, hey, we have a 9-week contract in Pennsylvania, are you able to take it? Yes, I am. So when I got into traveling is when I met more nurses, and because I met more nurses, I learned more education. I learned more about different things. So I had went to, I'm trying to remember, I had did strike nursing, and I don't know if you guys know what strike nursing is. Strike nursing is basically like if nurses from a hospital go on strike, then they use nurses from an agency to come in and fulfill those shifts until the strike is over. So the first time I heard about strike nursing was when I was doing a 9-week assignment in Philly, and I was talking to one of the nurses, and she was just saying, she was an RN, and she was saying that there was an agency looking for strike nurses because I believe it was Temple University Hospital or something like that was going on strike, and I think it was like 2010, 2000. No, it was 2010. It was the year after my daughter was born, and my daughter was born in 2009. So in 2010, the nurses went on strike, and no, they were going on strike, and she said to look into it. So when I contacted her agency, because we had different agencies at the time, when I contacted her agency basically told me, because I was an LPN, you know, the stuff was very limited. I mean, shifts were very limited based on what I can do in my scope of practice. But then I told them, you know, I am certified in wound care, I am certified in phlebotomy, I'm certified in EKG, or I work telemetry. Wherever you need help, like, I'm available. You know, sign me up. So I got a 2-week assignment, and it was a 2-week assignment pending if they was to go, if the strike was to continue on. And I think they had strike for like 25 to 30 days. And for those 25 to 30 days, let me tell you this much. They paid for transportation. They paid everything up front. You hear me? Up front. And I want to say the first set of money that I did get was like a little bit over $9,000. So I got a little over $9,000, and that was with me not even completing a shift. Now again, this was back in 2010. I am not sure if they still do it like this, but this is how they did it back then. So the company paid me money up front. They paid for my transportation. Now, if you're interested in doing travel nursing as an LPN, you can let me know in the comment section below, and I could do a more detailed video. But the way I found jobs as a travel LPN was through Indeed, through Craigslist. There's a group called Gypsy Nursing. There's tons of jobs for LPNs on there. Also, allnurses.com. When I went to school, I used that as a powerful resource. In my beginning stages of nursing, I use that, and to this day I still use that website whenever I need help or guidance. And they give tons of advice. Now, I know you guys might want to know, well, how much were you getting paid on the assignments? Every assignment is going to be different. You get paid based on your specialty and the demand on how bad they need you. On top of that, there's no night shift differential. That's just for my contracts. The contracts that they sent me, I never had any night shift differential, so I had to choose between working days or nights because it was basically the same pay. The way that I made $100,000 as an LPN was first making sure I got certifications underneath my belt, was to make sure that I obtained an NPI number so this way I can work for myself. I also made sure that I learned how to do billing and coding. Now in today's day, it's like what, ICD-10? I think that's the last coding I learned, ICD-10. So that is a very key component if you want to work for yourself, because you need to learn how to bill these medical insurance. You have to learn how to bill Medicare and Medicaid, because Medicare and Medicaid are the hardest ones, and VA, oh my god, veterans. And to know that these people worked for the country and put their lives on the line, and we're never gonna go there. That's a whole. Just know that you need to know all the legalities. You need to know all the numbers when it comes to billing and coding. Another thing that I did to make $100,000 was that I began to do travel nursing assignments. Hopefully I'm not jumping all over the place, but I just wanted to give you like a full year rundown. So in 2010, was it 2010? Yeah. Trying to make sure I get the year. You know what, the years don't even matter right now. I believe it was 2010 though. But I'm going to start off with, I would do 13-week assignments. 13-week assignments is a little over 3 months. So I would do my 3 months assignment. I would take a 2-month break. In that 2-month break, I was basically working for myself. So I would go on Craigslist, look for any kind of wound care jobs that they may need, or I would contact an agency, let the agency know that I was an independent contractor. And if I worked through the agency will be doing the billing on my behalf, and I will be giving them a cut. Well, they will be getting the money, and basically they'll be giving me my share. But if I couldn't find jobs on my own, that's another way that I went about it. So that 2 months is like, I took that time to spend time with my kids, spend time with my family, and I spent time to work on myself. Then I'll pick up another assignment. Now the next assignment that I pick up would not be a 13-week assignment. I want to make a short assignment. So I would really look for like an 8 to 9 week assignment. After I did that 8 to 9 week assignment, I was back home again. And at that time, I would always fly down to Florida with the kids. Fly down to Florida, spend some time with my mom, flew back, worked for myself. The thing that was important to me was that not only was I making money, but I was making time for my family. Because the years before that, The first time I made 100,000, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I blew through that money. When I filed my taxes and I had to pay back the government, and I sat there and I'm like, what do I have to show for the money that I had? Because on paper it said I had like almost $101,000, $102,000, but in my bank account I probably had like $2,000. I had Gucci on, I had Louis on, like my kids was Gucci down to the socks, but I had nothing. I had not invested, I hadn't saved anything. I bought a car. I wasn't financially or mentally stable when it came to managing money at that time. So I knew back then what I knew now, I would have definitely saved money. Now that I have gone through that, I can use this information that I have to help somebody else, so that you know, don't do what I do. Don't spend money like there's no tomorrow. Make sure you're investing. Make sure that you're saving, that you can actually see the profit of you working and making over $100,000. Honestly speaking, going forward in my nursing journey, I don't want to say I want to make $100,000, because you have to think about the taxes that go behind it, the fact that you may have to pay back. I can't speak for everyone, but every time I made over $90,000, I had to pay back. Even though I had made $100,000, in my opinion, it really wasn't worth it, because I didn't actually see that money. Now, taking the information that I know now, next year, is in a couple days, I am going to branch off. Like I did share with you guys before, I am thinking about opening a non-profit organization. But before I open that, I do want to do travel nursing. And this time, I have a really good realistic goal in mind. I'm just getting in, getting out, and taking that money to build the business that I want. Now that I am an RN, I do have a compact license. So when it's time for me to start traveling next year, I shouldn't have no problems. But like I said before, I have a goal in mind. I just want to do traveling temporarily, just to be able to stack money, build my foundation up, and be able to work independently for myself and help my community. I hope this video was very informative for you guys. If it was, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay blessed, stay prayed up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, my loves. And hopefully I didn't forget nothing, because my mind is just all over the place today. Bye, guys.